What's going on, guys? Indeed, society has become so fake that the truth actually bothers people. Imagine how that works, right? Well, moving on. In part one, we broke down Trump's earlier days, right? His shady business dealings, his ties to the mafia, the power players who propped him up, and how his rise wasn't as independent as people would like to believe. But in part two, we're going to shift gears a little bit. His role in entertainment, how Hollywood and the media crafted his larger than life persona. And of course, let's not forget about his unsettling comments that he said about his own daughter, that many of y'all choose to ignore. If you thought Trump was just a businessman turned president, yeah, think again. Okay, this has been programming for decades. You hear me? Decades. So you ready to go, America? Well, let's go. Here we go.
Before he was president, Trump wasn't just a businessman. He was a carefully crafted brand. From The Apprentice to WWE, he was presented as a larger-than-life figure, shaping public perception long before he entered politics. Hollywood and the media put him in movies, sitcoms, and even rap lyrics. But why? Because controlled opposition needs a figurehead. For years, the media loved him. He was the billionaire playboy, the TV icon. But when he ran for president, suddenly, he became public enemy number one. The same networks that gave him airtime flipped the script overnight. But was it organic or a controlled narrative shift to divide the country? And then there's the part no one wants to talk about. His own words about his daughter, Ivanka. From saying he'd date her if she wasn't his daughter to making creepy comments about her body. These weren't just jokes. They were disturbing patterns brushed off by his supporters and ignored by the mainstream press when it was convenient. This ain't about left or right. It's about seeing past the programming. Trump isn't who they told you he was, and he isn't who they tell you he is now. If you're still choosing sides in this game, you're still distracted. Wake up.
You don't have to believe me. You can hear it straight from him.
That if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
By the way, your daughter,
She's beautiful.
can I say this? A piece of ass.
Yeah.
She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that. I can't relate that.
Donald Trump repeatedly points out how hot his daughter is, saying last year in a Rolling Stone article, "Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married, and, her father."
My daughter, Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
Yeah, she's hot.
Little recap. In part one, we dove into Trump's earlier days, his controversial business dealings, association with some dubious figures, and his ascent to the White House, right? Now in part two, we explored the role in entertainment industry, the media's portrayal of him, and the unsettling comments about his own daughter, which everybody should find unsettling, okay? But stay tuned, because in part three, we're going to examine the Noahide laws and the potential implications under the Trump administration. Yeah, it gets that deep. Well, I'll see you on the next one. Later.